like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, call the roll.
Yeah, acting secretary.
Acting Secretary, call the roll.
Boehner.
Here.
Here.
Acting Secretary every time.
Schmidt.
Here.
Dunlop.
Here.
Casper.
Here.
Hammernick. Lloyd. Here. Barry.
Here. 3.1 Superintendent's Report.
Yes, thank you. I want to announce that the annual welcome back for staff is August 25th at Central. I will be giving a keynote that will begin at 8 a.m., and the board is invited, as always, to join us. Our theme this year is going to be District 146 World Cup. So Angela will be in touch how you can participate in that theme, but we're looking forward to it. And the first day of school is August 26th. That's the following day. It's the first day of school for students. We're working diligently across the district to be sure that our facilities are prepared, staff are ready to receive students, and all students are registered and assigned to teachers. Supplies and devices are in place. Student transportation's been coordinated. All the good stuff that we need to have ready in order to open the school on August 26th. So we're almost there, and we're looking forward to that date. I'd like to welcome some new administrators. First, Julie Russell's been of support to the district in a variety of different roles for more than 2 decades, and we're excited to welcome her as the new principal of Memorial School. She's off to a great start already, and we know she'll do a great job. Also, Dr. Laura Keel-Taft is also working in a new role as our special education coordinator. She's working alongside Kelly Valava in the Student Services Department. Laura previously worked at Central as an LBS. She's off to an outstanding start as well, and we look forward to her supporting our student services staff and students across the district. And finally, I want to just remind the board that Samantha Zimney is in the role of acting principal at Cruz Education Center while Kim Hartnett is on leave. And as you know, Sam is the SEL support specialist at FERC, and she's already off to a great start. She's going to make a fine principal permanently someday, and she's cutting her teeth here in 146 and doing a great job, as we expected she would. And now I'm going to throw it to Carrie to talk a little bit about new teacher orientation.
Yes, so tomorrow we welcome 14 new educators for a fun-filled 3-day orientation that is mandatory. It's designed to help staff understand our culture here, expectations, instructional supports, and our practices that we're known for. So day one's going to focus on the different departments, student services, special ed, bilingual curriculum, all that. They'll have lunch and their first field trip with district tour with their mentor. So we're looking forward to that. The second day will be all about building student relationships. They'll receive training from Safe and Civil Schools. We'll talk about best practices for classroom management and some early stages intervention that they can use in the classroom if needed. And then day 3, our tech team is going to come on by and provide an overview of all the tools that they have available to them. And we'll wrap it up with opportunities to connect with colleagues, and our communication specialist will be heading that up. So the goal is to give our educators a strong start and continue to connect them with people and systems. So we're looking forward to that.
I want to leave it with Carrie for a bit longer so she can begin foreshadowing one of our goals that I'm going to be proposing to the board with regard to curriculum, teaching and learning, and professional learning communities. Carrie?
Okay, so our work with student achievement and advanced learning is included already, strengthening the criteria and the processes that we use to identify and place and support students in accelerated and enriched programming. So we already had most of the work done, but now we just made the process a little bit more clear, consistent, and more transparent. So we have the help of Brooke Dundas. We have and Central Middle School staff, especially Rebecca Farabee. We've updated our accelerated handbook to better align with current Illinois guidance and, like I said, give that clarity for students and families so everything's a little bit more transparent. So we're continuing on with the multi-measure process to make those placement decisions. But what we didn't have previously was criteria for enrichment classes at the middle school, and we really didn't have any determining factors for if it was more appropriate for a student to exit some accelerated programming, so we now have those guidelines in place. So that's gonna give us better consistency for students and families. And as a result of the updated process, we'll be adding an additional 8th grade enriched ELA class this year, so we can better meet the needs of students, and we won't be increasing staff requirements to do that. So we're really excited to have more good stuff for kids and no additional cost.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. And Carrie and I have been talking about other ways that we can make sure that we're differentiating in both directions, not just students who need additional support, but even students within traditionally not accelerated classes, if we can meet our fastest learners' needs by differentiating in both directions and not just for those that need additional support. So the idea is to meet every kid where they're at, and ensure high levels of learning for all students regardless of where they're at with the given learning objective. So it's really exciting stuff that Carrie's doing. Appreciate that, Carrie. And Kelly, I want to throw it to Kelly to talk a little bit about our ESY program that just ended.
Yes, sure. We just ran a very successful summer extended school year program that ended at the end of July. An extended school year is specific to students that qualify for that program through their special education plan. So we ran a great program where we had about 65 students that attended, and we had great attendance. We had staff-led a special event every week as part of that program, and we sent updates to the family. We did things like touch a truck, and I have to say the town was awesome, and they really sent out a bunch of different trucks that day, and the kids loved it. Unfortunately, it was one of those days where we had that huge smoke thing going on, so it was very hot and smoky, but they were able to climb in all sorts of different types of trucks that the town provided, and of course we had fire trucks as well, which is always great for them. They also went, this is the first time we took a bus field trip to Navarro Farms, which is an amazing place that I highly recommend you check out and support. And it is this great farm that's set up specific for students with disabilities. And it was an amazing field trip. And then we also ended the summer extended school year program with a walking field trip for some of our classes over to Scoops in town. So that was awesome for them. We also ran this year in lieu of our summer intervention program. Brooke Dundas helped lead some summer learning opportunities that were available for all students. And the students that participated in those activities are going to be recognized later this month for their participation. So we want to thank Brooke for leading that charge over the summer, and thank all of our staff that supported our extended school year here.
I want to thank Kelly as well, because I asked Kelly to take a critical look at all summer programs and make sure that they are right-sized and make sure that they're effective. And in doing so, she not only right-sized it, but I think really improved the quality of the experience for kids. And all the feedback that I've gotten from staff and from parents has been really positive. So Kelly, I appreciate your diligence making that program the best it can be. And now, Matt, give us a little update on our physical plant summer projects and how they're shaping up.
Yeah, just a recap of some of the projects we did over the summer. Next door at Fulton, in June, we had all 7 of the hot water heaters, the domestic hot water heaters replaced. So we're good for about 15 more years on the hot water heating. At Cruisin' Fierk, doing a roof restoration project at each school. Mother Nature hasn't been playing well, so it continues. We've got like 2 more days at Fierk. This week doesn't look great, but they assure me they're gonna get it done even if they have to come in on a Saturday before school starts. We also have a started a multi-year project to restore a lot of our asphalt, the deficiencies in parking lots, playgrounds, et cetera. So this summer, all the playgrounds are getting seal coated, any deficiencies are being repaired, and new striping. So that's looking great. And then each school had some repairs done to the pavement, the most serious ones with the budget we have this year. So that'll be ongoing for the next couple of years. The big project at CMS, the renovation of the student bathrooms in the main office, the project went well. They ended what's called substantial completion on the agreed-upon date on July 31st. Right now, they're doing some punch list stuff, getting great feedback. Front office, when the staff are returning, they're really excited, and I know the front office staff are excited also. Unfortunately, during some projects, we have some negative things. What occurred to some of our flooring were some deep scratches in the flooring. The contractors definitely taken responsibility for that. However, when it was discovered after they pulled up some of the protection, it was too late to get into replacing those. So we did our normal summer scrubbing and re-waxing, and the contractor, we're looking at possibly winter break to remedy those deficiencies and scratches in the floor. And one last thing, following the July 27th storm, we discovered the garage at Sanditch suffered some damage from the storm. The roofing material, the built-up roofing material actually tore off half of the roof. So we contacted our insurance, started a claim. They authorized us to get emergency protection over the roof, which was completed today. And we're having our roofing contractor provide an estimate for repair, which we will submit to the insurance company.
Thanks, Matt. I'm happy to report to the board that we're updating and modernizing some of our summer communications to families. Vern and Keegan have been excellent resources for principals. You know, we've always felt like we've been on the cutting edge, but I don't know if it's tradition or what, but there's a few things that we still did that we felt were antiquated, like folding and stuffing envelopes and paying for US mail for some of the communication home to families. So with the addition of Parent Square and us we're not as green on Parent Square as we were this time last year, we're feeling confident that we can communicate electronically with families. It's just a much less physical workload, and also more convenient and more in a manner that parents expect. So schools and district staff communicated today with families so that families know when and what to expect between now and the first day of school. And we'll be rolling those additional communications out to families. I didn't hear any feedback today, so sometimes no news is good news, but certainly I would have heard if it was received at all negatively. So I think it was a positive. It's certainly more convenient and more appropriate in my opinion. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll report back. We're expecting that it will go very well, and this will be the new way. So we're looking forward to that. We have a number of condolences this month. Sean Hannock's mother, Margaret Hannock, passed away on May 29th. Visitation was held in June. Sean is the safety clerk at Fulton. Mary Rita Ryan's sister, sorry, I'm going to say that again. Mary Rita Ryan's sister, Roseanne, passed away. Mary Rita is retired, but she was safety clerk at Memorial, and before that, media center clerk. And she still works regularly as a sub in our school offices, particularly at Memorial. So our heart goes out to Mary Rita. Nikki Cardella's father-in-law, Joseph Cardella, passed. Nikki's a paraprofessional at Memorial School. And the district learned recently that Linda Urban passed away. Linda previously worked as a paraprofessional at Fulton next door. So our thoughts are with those employees and former employees and their families during their difficult time. And then a celebration, congratulations to Kim Hartnett, as I mentioned earlier, and the Hartnett family. They welcomed their new bundle of joy on July 14th. Kim shared that baby Hartnett's an absolute angel. They're in baby heaven. And Kim expressed thanks to the district, the board, and crews for the love and support that they've received, and for the excellent work that Sam is doing in her stead. So congratulations to the Hartnett family. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Move on to citizens' request to address the board.
I would like to request that my full statement be entered into the permanent meeting record and included in the minutes. Good evening, Superintendent, members of the board, and Mr. Charleston. According to District 146 Handbook, the district provides bus transportation to and from for all students living 1.5 miles or more from the school and/or under hazardous conditions as defined by the state. I'd like to point out, too, that everything you guys have brought up today, the overarching theme is all children. I am here tonight to request that the board apply the operational intent of this policy and exercise its discretionary authority to restore non-public student transportation safety accommodations for neighborhood children. My name is Lauren Bedar. I am a resident and taxpayer living near the Larkspur Lane and Sycamore Drive intersection within District 146. Exhibit A shows a map of Orland Park and the breakout of District 146. You can see it's very small. Purple. Our family was recently informed by transportation staff that bus access cannot cross boundary lines into District 135. Exhibit B. I understand the district's general practices of routing within its own boundaries. However, this neighborhood has documented administrative precedent addressing this exact scenario. I have attached a February 10th, 2013 directive signed by your current Director of Business Services, Jeff Charleston, marked as Exhibit C. In that letter, the district committed to local St. Michael families that out-of-district accommodations would be made where logistically viable. The logistical framework for this accommodation already exists. The District 146 public school bus routes for Cruz Education Center and/or other 146 buses pass directly through the Larkspur and Sycamore intersections every school day. Because a district-operated vehicle is already present at this location, adding an out-of-district stop for St. Michael's school students would not require a new route, only the addition of an existing stop to an existing route. Jeff has since said that that letter was only intended for St. George and not for St. Michael, even though St. Michael's name is in the upper left-hand corner. The current process directs families to an online portal that filters strictly by district boundary and does not appear to account for precedent like Exhibit C. I included a screenshot in Exhibit D. It's a Google sheet that you fill out. There's a drop-down. You cannot select St. Michael. I understand that. It's District 135, not 146. But I live in 146, and there's no option for me to dispute it. So I fill out the form, and then it's just a flat no. We're not going to give you transportation. I ask the board and Mr. Charleston to manually review our neighborhood's active routes and to apply the same out-of-district stop accommodation this administration previously extended to St. Michael families. If the board is not able to add a direct 146 stop, I understand that 105 ILCS 5/29-6, Exhibit C, separately authorizes school districts to contract with one another at actual cost for pupil transportation, which could allow District 146 to place our children on District 135's existing route to St. Michael's School on a fee-for-service basis. And just to put it into context, there's 300 students that get bused to St. Michael's School by District 135, and that's 12 routes. And that's from a current contract. Those are current numbers. For reference, transportation reimbursement and boundary provisions are also addressed in 105 ILCS 5/29-4, which is Exhibit F, and in the ISB's Pupil Transportation Guidance in Exhibit G. I raise these as background, not as a claim about how the board must act. Because the 2026-27 bus routes are still being finalized, I respectfully ask the board to take the following actions today. I've listed 5 points. I've already talked with Jeff about these. I know you're not going to do a direct route for 146 families to St. Michael. I know you're not going to add a route off an existing route from Cruz Elementary or another 146 bus to St. Michael. But I think the last point is probably the most logical point that I have, because 135 already has 12 buses that go to St. Michael. So if you guys can just work with them and make some sort of inter-district agreement, which seems pretty simple. I know that back then, you guys cited, you eliminated the direct route because financial reasons. It was $17,600 to get a direct route for St. Michael students. How much does it cost for fee-for-service?
You have 30 seconds left.
How much would that cost? That's what I would like for you guys to actually look at, instead of just saying no. Thank you for your time, leadership, and consideration of this neighborhood request.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to union reports.
For tonight, we're in our classrooms, if possible, and stapling stuff up and getting kind of back to the routine. So a couple more weeks before the real routine. But these last couple weeks are important so we can kind of feel prepared. And everyone seems to be in very good spirits. And we're looking forward to the school year.
Thank you.
And for the ESP union, we do have the para training on the 18th and 19th of next week, and I know I'm not looking forward to going to training and doing for summer, but it's something that we do. And the good news is that we have only a few ESP jobs that are available right now. So if you know of anybody who needs a para job, or a health clerk part-time job, or a nurse, we need a nurse at Fulton, I know. So if anybody knows of any jobs, have a look at our website.
Thank you. We'll move on to action items. Can I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Move we approve items 6.1, approval of minutes, 6.2, approval of closed session minutes, 6.3, approval of closed session, destruction of closed session tapes, 6.4, approval of financial items, and 6.5, approval of personnel items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Boehner.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Dunlop.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes. 6.6, approval of Title I Family Engagement Plan.
Carrie.
Okay, so as shared in last week's board update, the district has updated the Title I Family Engagement Plan for the 26-27 school year. This plan is included in the CDP. The Consolidated District Plan is an annual requirement for districts receiving Title I funds, aligned with federal requirements and district priorities. The updated plan strengthens communication and partnership with families, creates additional opportunities for collaboration, planning, and feedback, and coordinates family engagement with other district initiatives, and includes an annual evaluation process to get stakeholder feedback and any barriers to participation. So it also formalizes the use of the Title I schools, their family, school, and student compacts. So we're reinforcing the shared responsibility for student learning and support. So that is the item in front of the board tonight.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the Title I Family Engagement Plan as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Boehner.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Dunlop.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes. 6.7, approval of CMS band trip.
Yes, it's been customary lately for Jason Freeland to ask the board to approve an overnight trip in the blind. You know that you've got a board policy that says trips of a certain distance or trips that require an overnight stay require board approval. So I want the community to know that I've briefed the board on the nature of the location, but I'm asking them not to disclose it when they approve the trip so that Mr. Freeland can surprise the kiddos.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the CMS band trip for spring 2027 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Banner.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Dunlap.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes. 6.8, approval of gift to Fulton School.
Yes, as the board knows, whenever a school or the district is going to receive a gift from either a parent organization or other agency of a certain value or more, it requires board approval. Megan next door at Fulton made me aware that her parent organization wants to gift them roughly $4,000 for some playground enhancements. That is something that she's hoping they can expedite and get done while there's still a bit of fleeting summer left. So we fast-tracked this approval here tonight. I hope the board doesn't mind, but Matt checked in with Megan today, and he's on board with the types of things that she's envisioning. So we'd like to receive this gift from the Fulton PTO with the board's generosity, or the board's appreciation.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve and accept the gift to Fulton School from the Fulton PTO for playground improvements in the amount of $4,000 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to say I love the Gaga Ball pit. If you don't know what that is, look it up.
I was wondering, I was going to ask, what's a
Thinking
Gaga
Lady
ball?
Gaga somehow.
No, I
Kids
think,
love it.
yeah, it's really fun. It's a fun game.
Once we get it in there, we'll invite the board over to come play.
Yes.
Board can admin,
Margie's
right?
gonna have to teach us how
I
to
know.
play.
You seconded? I'm sorry. I lost
No,
track.
I second.
Jill second.
Jill second. Discussion. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Banner.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Dunlap.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes. 6.9, approval of policy updates, second read.
These policies were updated by us rather than the typical press batch. These are in response to negotiations which have recently ended, so that your board policy is in concert with new language in the teacher and the ESP CBAs.
Is there a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the policy revisions as presented.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Banner.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Dunlap.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes. 7.1, preliminary budget.
All right, presentation time. That's awesome. Maybe. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. This is the preliminary budget for the upcoming fiscal year. In my world, budgeting is year-round, but we're here. State law requires the budget to be out there for 30 days before it can be officially approved, so this is the beginning of the 30-day period. And in September, we'll have a hearing, a public hearing, and ask the board for official approval. So this is just information at this point. And one of the things I like to do at this meeting is also give a review of how we did last year compared to our budget. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'll move on to the new year budget. So on the revenue side, here's the budget line, and here's the actual line. So if you go across, on the local side, we were just under budget at 99.3%. Usually we're a little bit over budget on the local side, but the county, Cook County, has been having all kinds of issues with their tax collection system. And I actually think they have under-distributed some of the taxes. But in any case, we were close, slightly under. The same with the state. After the budget was passed, the state prorated some of the, especially transportation reimbursements that they do. So we got a little bit less than we were budgeting, so 99% of that. Also, on the federal side, that one came in quite a bit above. So if you look at revenue as a whole, we actually were 0.7% over what we expected, so that's a good thing. We came in about $400,000 better on the revenue side than budget. On the and then a little more explanation. So the local was down because of property taxes. The state was down because of transportation. Federal was over because of Medicaid reimbursements, which kind of is a mystery to me how that all works. The federal government changes the rules every year, and it's hard to budget that amount, but we received more than we budgeted, so that was a good thing. So the grand total on the revenue side, $389,000 better than budget. On the expense side, a lot of numbers here, but it's the same thing reading it across. You could see most of the categories we were under budget, 98% for salaries. Salaries and benefits are the two biggest categories, and we were under in both of those, mostly because positions were open for a portion of time, and on the benefit side, people picked different mixes of benefits. There were two categories that were over. This purchase services was over budget a little bit, and that is primarily due to special ed transportation. We've had a big influx of students with needs in recent years, and so transporting them is expensive, and so it came in higher than we were anticipating. And then this line called other objects, that's where we pay tuition to out-of-district when we place a student at a special ed co-op or a private facility that meets their needs. That one has dramatically gone up in recent years. So those two categories were over. Everything else was under, and when you throw it all into the mix, we were actually under by 1%. We spent 99% of our budget, so that was on an overall basis very close, and I'm happy with that number. So putting it all together, on the revenue side, the budget for the year was a $1.3 million deficit. But what ended up happening is we were, $300,000 better in revenue, $500,000 better in expenses. So our actual deficit was only $450,000. So from a projection of 1.3 million negative, we were 450,000 negative, coming in better than we budgeted. So it was a good year, even though it was a deficit year. So then moving forward to the current year budget, I'm going to start with a broad overview of all the funds, and then I'll get into more specifics. Our beginning fund balance, $48.5 million. We're expecting revenue for the year of $57.5, expenses of $55.6, which is a surplus of $1.9 million, and that leaves us with a fund balance of $50.5 million. You'll recall we've had a number of discussions about what level we want our fund balance to be at, and we've set a goal of 80% of our expenditures. So actually using these numbers, the beginning fund balance is 87% of our fund balance, and the ending fund balance is 90%. So we're doing better than what our goal is. But I would caution this year is going to look good for reasons that I'll get into. But when you look at the 5-year, that's where we have concerns. So we're trying to cushion future things that are coming. So this is the overall, but we're projecting a surplus for the upcoming year. On the revenue side, here's where our money comes from. The majority of it is local, and then smaller amounts from the state and the federal government to get to our total. And if you recall, as recently as 6 or 7 years ago, local was about 85% of our total, and state was about 10%. But the state has actually been increasing the amount that they fund, so their percentage has grown while the local has gotten smaller over the years. So going through the three categories, local, starting with local, property taxes are paid on a calendar year basis, but our fiscal year crosses calendar years. So for the upcoming year, we're going to get the second half of 2025, where the CPI was 2.9%, and the first half of 2026, which is 2.7%. So if that was all that was happening, our property tax revenue would increase by somewhere in between those numbers, be about 2.8%. However, we have a unique situation this year where we have been abating money in previous years. Those abatements are rolling off, and the way the county does the abatements, they don't split them evenly between the years. It's almost like you get none of it in the first half of the year, and then it all comes through in the second half. So when you throw all of that in the mix, our property taxes are actually going to go up 10% this year. This was known and anticipated when we did the 5-year forecast. We talked about it, and residents won't see a 10% increase. That's what will come to the district because it's 2 different CPI years. But this is a kind of a unique one-time thing that's going to happen with our property taxes. But again, we knew about it, and in future years, it'll be much closer to whatever CPI is in those future years. Our other big revenue source is interest revenue. And right now in the current budget, it's flat. I might increase it a little bit. Interest rates are slowly trending up, but that's offset by the county sending us the money much later than they normally do. So as of now, interest revenue is projected to be flat. But all of those things together means our local revenue, which is our biggest source of revenue, is going up by 9.75% this coming year. So numbers-wise, it was 41 million last year, it's 45 this year, so that's a change of $4 million or 9.75%. So that's local. On the state side, these numbers are going to change for sure between now and the final budget. When I put this together, we didn't have the new evidence-based funding numbers. They just came out Friday when we were closed, and we're going to get about $50,000 in new revenue. So that right now in the current budget, I have it at 0 increase, but it's going to go up a little bit. And then the state continues to prorate transportation reimbursements. They give us money on one hand through the evidence-based funding, and then they take it away by reducing the reimbursements for other things. So in the grand scheme of things, on the state side, state revenue is going to be fairly flat compared to last year. So actual numbers, it's an increase of $14,000 or 0.1%. Although, like I said, that probably will change a little bit between now and the final budget. On the federal side, we're projecting a Medicaid increase from last year. Last year's budget was 2.1 million. This year it's 2.2. So it's 6.5% is a big increase, but this is the smallest portion of our budget. So it's a $139,000 increase in revenue. So the revenue summary is that all 3 categories are going up from what they were last year. The biggest source, of course, is local, and it's going up by the biggest amount. But again, that's a kind of a one-time thing due to abatements going away. But revenue overall is going up $4 million, which is a 7.8% increase in total from last year. On the expense side, here's where we spend our money, and you can see the biggest two categories, salaries and benefits, relate to our people, so that's about 70% of the total, with smaller amounts for the other categories there. And here's how each thing has changed. A lot of numbers. A couple things I'll point out. If you look at the benefit line, it's not the biggest line, of course, but it is the biggest percentage increase on that page. We had a huge health insurance increase this year. It was actually about 15%, but that cost is shared between the employer and the employee. So to the district, it's about a 10% increase in cost. That was a big one, the biggest one that we've seen, at least in the 15 years I've been here. Capital is down because we did a big project last year, a $4 million project, and now we're back to more of our $1 million a year of capital plus some other smaller things. So that decrease in capital costs helps absorb a lot of the increases everywhere else. So when you put it all together, the total increase is $800,000, which is actually only 1.5%. So revenue's up 7%, expenses up 1.5%, but remember, we were at a deficit last year, so that's what brings us to a surplus. Again, so ending kind of where I started with the overall summary, the district has a healthy fund balance, and we're projecting a surplus for this year. But as usual, we don't look at our financial picture. We do it for budget purposes on a one-year basis, but we're always looking long-term too. And we're entering an era where expenses are going up 5 to 6% per year with health insurance and salaries and other things. And other than this year, revenues are going to be going up 2 to 3% per year. So we need to bank those surpluses now while we can, in anticipation of more difficult times to come. And that is all that I have. Does anybody have a question? Yes, sir.
Is there any indication that the property taxes will be on time?
It looks like we've already been told they're going to be late again this year. Last year, they were not paid out until the middle of December or later. This year, they're saying maybe 2 months late. They're hoping to be 2 months late instead of 4 months late. So
we'll be living on savings.
yes, that's another reason to carry fund balances, is so that the county, who is distributing tax funds late, is also offering low-interest loans to districts that don't have enough money to pay their bills while they're waiting for those tax funds to come in. Yep.
Jeff, is that other line, is that all like outplaced?
No, there's two main things in that other line. One of them is our annual bond payments, which is about 1.5 million of that total, and most of the rest of it is out-of-district tuition.
What's causing that? I mean, that's like that line is increasing by like 20%. Is that?
It's kind of two things. One, the tuition that the other schools charge is increasing dramatically, just because there's higher costs for parapros and other services that they provide, and then we have an increase in the number of students that are being placed out. Is that accurate, Kelly?
There's really not an increase in the number of students. It's actually gone down. It's just the tuitions are far higher because of the expenses of the programs. So we're not at liberty to negotiate what those costs are when a student has to be placed in a specialized program. We just get billed for those. That line also includes students that have mental health crises, and we're responsible for the educational portion when they receive services in the hospital. So I believe that's also paid out of that line as well. That number has dramatically increased.
What is the cost per student now?
It just depends. I mean, most of our students are placed at the cooperative, and those costs have gone up dramatically as well. You know, it could be anywhere from 60,000 to 80,000, not including transportation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Can I have a motion to go to closed session?
I move that we go into closed session for a personnel item.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Banner.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Dunlop.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes. There'll be no business after closed session.